Thanksgiving dinner rolls. And this recipe is something I cooked the other day, and my wife was a little bit upset with me. And when I started making these and they came out of the oven, it just like all things forgotten. Love is in the air. So these are really good dinner rolls. And we'll start off with I got a packet of yeast. Put that in there. Got 2 tablespoons of warm tap water. Don't want to get it too hot, it'll kill the yeast, but it's, about 110, 120 degrees. I'll let that set. And while I'm doing that, I've got 1 cup of warm milk. It's warm. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of honey. That's kind of hard to pour. It's thick. Okay. And a couple of 2 tablespoons of softened butter. Kind of stir that around a little bit. The butter may not melt all the way. That's not a problem. It'll be soft enough to work into our flour later, regardless. And the other thing I've got going over here on my stove, I've got a pan of hot water that I brought to a boil, and I'm going to put that in my oven for when we get ready to proof our dough. We'll put that in there, and that'll help the dough to rise. It'll be a warm, moist heat. You're supposed to have your dough in a warm place, and putting it in the oven, it kind of controls that a little bit, and that moisture really helps it rise. And it looks like our yeast is active. It's bubbling a little bit, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our milk mixture in with it. Stir that a little bit. And then I have 1 egg I've already beaten up. And the milk should be cooled down enough. It shouldn't try to cook it or anything. We'll stir that around a little bit. And I have here 4 cups of sifted flour, and the recipe calls for about 3 1/3 or 3 2/3. So I've got 4 cups just in case, and we'll put we can add to it. I want to have enough on hand. Put some in there and get it mixing. Start it. And you want this to mix to where it kind of pulls apart from the sides and where you can handle it. It might be just a little bit tacky, but as long as you can handle it without just getting all gooey, that's where you want it. So we'll turn on our mixer. We'll turn it on low so we don't get powder flour all over us. And my little boy was nearby. He'd be running in here trying to turn it up on fast on me, making a big mess. I can see right now I need to add some more flour because it's come together a little more than that. Scrape it down a little bit. Sides. Now this is not going to be as dry and to the touch as like a regular white bread dough would be. This, like I said, it's going to be a little bit more tacky. Let's check it again. It's not quite there. It's still a little bit wet. Put a little bit more flour in there. Again, it's almost there. I'll put the rest of that flour in. Wrap them down a little bit. Okay, that's about right there. It's not too terribly sticky. And I ended up putting the whole 4 cups. And I did sift that flour also. Your package of all-purpose flour, I'll say pre-sift it, but I like to go ahead and sift it, because who knows how much it's settled. But then I've got a bowl here I put some oil in it, a couple tablespoons of oil in this bowl. I'll put this dough, take it out and put it in this bowl, out of my mixing bowl into this bowl. And then I'm going to turn it, let it get oiled up good. So next I'm going to cover this with a towel and put it in my oven with I've got a pan of hot steamy water I'm going to put down in the bottom part of the oven on the bottom rack, and put this above it with a towel on it and let it rise for approximately 1 hour. It should double in size. It's been about an hour. I've taken it out of the oven, and it's risen at least twice, maybe 3 times the size. So I'm going to punch it down now. And this is pretty easy. I'm going to roll it out in balls and I got a greased, actually it's a large cake pan, but I'm going to use it for a baking sheet today. And I'm going to pinch me off about enough to make a 1-inch ball, thereabouts. Yes. Okay. Placing them in my pan. And once I get my pan filled, I'm going to cover it with a towel again and set it and let it rise another 20 or 30 minutes, and it should double in size. And be about ready to pop it in the oven then. All right, it's been about 30 minutes, and that's what they look like after they've risen a second time. And we're going to pop it in the oven. We're going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. You got to watch these pretty close. They cook pretty fast. All right. See how she goes. Okay, I've had them in the oven about 10 minutes, and I brought them out, and I'm going to brush them with some honey butter. I took about 2 tablespoons of butter, and melted it, and mixed in 2 tablespoons of honey. And I'm going to brush that on top, and probably finish them up. Probably won't take but a couple more minutes after this. So I'm going to brush this on there and then pop them back in for a couple more minutes until they brown, have a nice golden brown top. Okay, I think they're done. Ended up baking them about 10 minutes, then brushed them with the honey butter and went another 4 minutes to let that brown. And I'm going to pop one out of here. Let you see what it looks like. There it is. It's really hot. And hope you all will try this recipe for Thanksgiving dinner rolls for your Thanksgiving meal. And I ask you to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.